everybody, and welcome to another episode of That Podcast. Enjoy the show.
All right. Well,
Oh, we're not. I was like,
we're
you
going right
don't do
into
the music.
No, you put that part in, right? I don't need to press any more
Welcome
buttons.
to That Podcast.
As you can tell, the professionals are gone. Ryan
the
and
cat's
DJ
away, the mice will play.
Exactly. So we've got, as always, Dayna and Sarah DeYoung, and Amy joining us today. Amy Okeson from Atonement and Feed My Starving Children FargoPack, because
Hey, friends.
it's that time of year. It's January. We're getting into the new year, which means we're getting into FargoPack.
That's right. It's coming up. So, well, right now when we're recording, 5-6 weeks away for depending on when y'all hear this, but it's here we are in January, mid-January, and the pack comes up at the end of February 22nd through February 28th, and we're going to be at a new venue, the Butler Arena on the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. So we're gearing up, we're excited, and I just love being able to share about it in a bigger way like this.
Well, and I feel like this is the latest kind of in the year that we've done this. So I'm in my brain, I'm like, it's going to be warm. It's not, but
Don't kid yourself, Sarah.
it's end of February. We're getting into spring, maybe.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of it. It's the latest we've had in recent memory. That very first year, because I did not go back and look, we might have been like first week of March, that very first time where we ever just did a single day here at the church. Because I remember there being discussion around, it's wrestling tournament and all of this kind of stuff. And but that might have been just, and then we were in early February for a long time. And then we moved into January when we did the big record setting going for 10 million. We did the 9.7 million at the Fargo Dome. We needed to be in early January to have enough time and a location to do it. And so then we stuck with that date to see if people liked it. Well, we have found that being right on top of Christmas is not easy, particularly for those of us that organize it, right? And so having this gap is good. We also wanted to try an experiment. What's it like being after Giving Hearts Day? And to see how that goes. And we were excited to find a new venue. Those that don't know, the Butler Arena in the middle of the fairgrounds was redone about 4 or 5 years ago, completely finished, has sound. It's a beautiful building. It's actually more floor space than we had when we were at Shields Arena. And so we're excited to have a new date and a new space and to welcome y'all to come pack with us.
Well, and also coming up after Giving Hearts Day, that means people can donate ahead of time for their pack, and it gets matched or it gets rolled into that great big Giving Hearts Day where, what is it, like 8 million plus? Yeah, I'm probably wrong on that number.
So it's okay. Well, that's probably like givers, 8 million.
Yes.
They raise, Giving Hearts Day as a whole over the last few years have raised over $20 million each year in the in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. There's over 600 charities that participate in Giving Hearts Day. For those that don't know, for listening, tuning in, that aren't familiar with what Giving Hearts Day is, it's one of the biggest giving days in the nation. And it's based right here in Fargo. The Dakota Medical Foundation, which was created in our community many years ago. And then they had this desire, some people came along to, let's try a giving day. And they called it Giving Hearts Day and focus it around Valentine's Day, of course. It's always the Thursday before Valentine's Day. So this year it's February 12th. And you guys, as huge part of our promotions team for Giving Hearts Day, help create that. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But that's, we love for you to be a giving heart for Feed My Starving Children. And we're gathering right now a pool of match donors. We have a big goal. We want to raise $200,000 on Giving Hearts Day. So we're working to raise a $50,000 to $100,000 match for that right now. So if you're interested, if you're tuning in and you're interested about being a sponsor, hey, we'd love to hear from you. But that's my shameless plug. But all of that makes it possible. I mean, you guys know we can talk a little bit about that. So let's do a quiz.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to feed a child for a year?
$106.
Good job, Dayna. Is there an applause? Where's the applause?
There we go.
Yay.
Don't ask me.
I was prepared for cost of a meal. I was like 29 cents. I'm ready.
See there. Okay, so that was the next question. She jumped ahead. So that's good. 29 cents a meal. Child for a year. 1 meal a day for 365 days. At least one nutritious meal every day. So that adds up to 106. can feed a kid for a whole year. And so people are always like amazed, what? How does that work? Well, you know how we do it. We come, we pack. It's efficient. It's efficient in the way they ship it. Feed my starving
free
children.
labor.
Yes.
Well,
and they give it away to their partners. The partners pay to ship it across the ocean. That's their buy-in. They have to pay to ship it. And it's mission organizations, non-governmental organizations that feed my starving children, vets. They check them out. Are they staying for the long haul with us?
I think that's my favorite part of Feed My Starving Children as a whole is how they get meals is they know we are the experts on packing the meals, on getting them the nutritious, but we wouldn't be able to make nearly the impact as those partners who have the ground in those places and those partnerships with the communities there and the workforce there and all that type of stuff. So they send it where it needs to go. It's getting put into the hands of the people who know where to send it and where to have it do the most good.
Exactly. Like our part is to pack it and to pray for it and to raise the money to pay for the groceries. You've heard Pastor DJ say this. We got to pay the grocery bill first. You don't get to get the groceries if you don't pay the bill. And then they are the experts. I love that you said that, Sarah. The experts on how to get it into the hands of the people that need it. And there's so many different ways that it's distributed. Maybe they're make it in a big pot and they serve it as school lunch. I mean, you've seen us, Sarah. Dayna, you were with us in the DR when we got to feed them. What was that experience like?
That was cool. I feel like I was just telling this to someone. I think it might have been Pastor Mark. That's one of the things I remember about that trip is like going there that school that first day of like seeing her make it in the big pot. Like I have photos. I think it's you and Seth like stirring it, and then them all sitting in what is basically a lunchroom, and then their little plates of it, and just it was very cool to just be like, we make that, and then just to also try it and how like they like make it taste different.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is it's so cool to see just from pictures and things like that, the personality that each of these, because it goes all over the world. It goes,
and it's not the most flavorful thing.
Yeah,
it's
like
terrible,
when you see us packing it, it's perfect that we pack it in the Midwest because it's a very just bland basic of
right
your vitamins, your veggies, your soy, your rice.
Yeah.
It is very beige.
They can definitely make it fit with where they are and what, their palates.
The key is that it has those vitamins in it that are critical for the development from 0 to 10, that it has that protein source of soy, dehydrated soy. It has rice, which is a universally acceptable carbohydrate, and then it has that vegetable mix. So this is acceptable no matter where you're sending it, what culture you're sending it into. It's shelf stable for over 2 years. It's amazing. And then, they use it. They like whatever they have access to where they are. Like when we are in the Dominican and in a lot of Central and South American, they might add some kind of beans or some kind of like flavorful liquid that for if they had a little bit of meat, they cooked meat on the side, and then they use that broth and with it they add their own spices. I've seen them add fruit in different places right off really cool. Whatever they have access to that maybe they can grow right there, they'll add in with it.
And that's the thing is like, well, they add other things, but yet this is still the base that know, and that adding one thing is way less than having to make that whole thing from scratch. Exactly.
They make and
especially if you look at those photos, if you can find them somewhere, that like pot that she made like a huge thing of it. And
we'll have to share that out on something. But
I'm trying to think of what it
pot.
equates to, because it almost reminds me of the pictures that I've seen is like if you ever see people who make candy, like when you go to like touristy towns, things like that, those gigantic like copper pots.
Yeah.
Like one of those just full of
Manapack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And like you see, and some of them are bigger. CEO Emeritus Mark Correa from FMSC has he's with us for 25 years, has these amazing stories, and he talks about when he was in Africa, I think in Uganda, and there was a pot that he's like literally can stand in almost. And when they make it, and he said all these kids come from all around because they know it's a care point, and they get food once a day, and they come and they line up. And he's like, I'm looking at this pot, and I'm looking at all these kids, and I know how much they put in there, and I know the math.
Yeah.
And he's like, the math isn't mathin'.
But
he's like, God makes, it doesn't make any sense. God makes the math work. Because amazing. He's like, the last kid comes up, and they took the last scoop up and out, and it was exactly
it was
what
the perfect
they
amount.
needed. Because we think, and that we have all these little exact measurements, right? You have to have in the U.S. that FDA and everything has. But like when they make it, they know that this little tiny one
maybe
can't eat a whole kind of cupful.
Yeah.
And so it's just God provides, and he provides because you give, because the community comes out and packs, because the community comes out and prays, and because the community gives. You know, not everybody understands. We have to do all three of those things. We have to raise the money. We have to come up with the volunteers, and we have to come up with the site and the plan and the leadership and the prayer over it all to make it happen. So people just think, oh, we want to come pack. What? You don't have, they don't always the community doesn't always understand, why can't we pack more? Why can't, why can't we welcome more volunteers? Yeah. We want nothing more than to welcome more volunteers. It's a money problem. And that's just,
and a space.
And to some extent a space. Yeah. But we know we can pack fast in Fargo. And yes, because the spaces cost money, right? But we now have this beautiful space that is working with us, that's affordable, that believes in the mission. But yes, it does cost money. And so we know that we have the capacity to pack more. And right now, registration's open at FargoPack.org. You can go on FMSC's website and search for Fargo on there and find the registration. It's open. It's almost full, because right now we have spots open for 1.5 million meals. We want to be able to pack 2 million, but we got to raise some more money. Because again, you can only open up space. You got to do the math about this many volunteers will pack this many. We don't want to run out halfway through of ingredients. They're going to bring the ingredients from the Twin Cities for what we have money for, right? Like they can't just say, hey, we can't.
It's the same as opening your fridge at home.
Yes,
exactly. You know, if you didn't go grocery shopping that day, you're not going to have the things in there to make your dinner that night. And the same thing for FargoPack up here is that's our fridge, is the rice and the soy that they bring up for us to pack.
Exactly. So we want nothing more than to pack the 2 million or more, and to open some more volunteer spots, because that's a huge part of our mission, right? Feeding kids hungry in body and spirit. We've got all these school kids coming. We have other people, other churches, other businesses, other families that want to come. And if we raise more money, we can pack more meals. So you can help. 29 cents, $106. Maybe it's $5,000. Maybe it's $100,000. Maybe you want to be our Giving Hearts Day sponsor. All of that adds up. But I want to tell people, I'm like, there's no gift too big or too small. It's amazing. I mean, you guys have seen it. The little kids come in with their 25 cents or their quarters in those M&M tubes, and the joy on their face, you know, because they got to help feed a kid. It's just unbelievable.
Well, and especially from my perspective of it, of getting to hear, especially from, you know, parents and guardians, and then also kids, when you say that it's 29 cents for that meal, that's it. Like, how much, if I were to go grocery shopping, it would, and that's just me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even get close to 106 is maybe half of my grocery bill.
Exactly. I know what I spend to feed teenagers. You know, teenagers in sports.
Or like, even you're going to go to McDonald's quick for lunch.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to cost way more than
my coffee.
Cents.
Like, I mean, I think I'm like, all right, if I were to just stop having coffee out,
and
how much would I put that in a bucket? Right? Or one time a week, we're not going to go out. We're going to not go out, or one time a month, you know, as a fam, we're going to stay home and cook at home, and we're going to put this money away every month and donate it. It's little things like that you can do. We have this, and it's just amazing to see. People don't think, the kids love to help. They love to hear the story. And when you hear the impact it makes and how very little can make a difference, we can get there. I know that we can reach these goals with individuals in our community giving. It shows on Giving Hearts Day. It's just, it doesn't all have to come from big, giant corporations and things. Like, you, the individual, can make this happen.
Well, and also, I don't know if people know this very often, but Fargo is certified as the best packers and the quickest packers in Feed My Starving Children history.
That's right. We hold some records.
Yes, from our record of 10 million, or 10 year, packing almost 10 million meals, record. And then also the fastest packers on the floor.
Yeah.
That's right.
2 million might sound like a lot, but it goes quick, because
I don't remember, what did we do in a 2-hour shift? This is written down. I should look it up.
All I know
used to have that memorized, and I haven't said it in a while.
The only thing that I remember is that, because we all got a chance to be in this group packing, And we probably all, I will say, were the slowest in the mix and being lapped by 70-plus-year-old people.
Yeah.
Who also lapped like Marines who were the last holding members.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
There's an 8
David
in
and
there
Dorothy
somewhere.
Green, God bless them. Shout out to David and Dorothy Green,
they're-
these super
Yeah.
packers. And so it just goes to show you that's another. So it's fun, right? That's
Yes.
totally fun to set those records and to see how fast and to stack up a group and see how fast we can. And she's particular about who was allowed to do
yes.
what job. Everybody had their assigned spot, and you had to move.
Yeah.
And
she also got particular, like, if you changed your job all of a sudden, it was like, no, you
Go back to how
No,
you
no.
were doing
this
it.
is what you do.
no
You
talking, no come over
Yeah.
and distracting Amy or Dayna. They're working.
Don't chit chatting. Don't chit
Well,
chat.
it's fun.
And she giggles and we talk about this. She knows we do this. I love
yes.
her.
Yeah.
But it's also
it's
so
just
fun for
funny.
us who, especially you, Amy, who do probably 75% of all the logistics and the planning that day, to actually just get to go and do the packing work of it.
To do, and I love it when I get to pack. When it's like, and I always tell people too. I'm like, if you see me packing, if it's been a stressful day or something, and you see me packing, just leave me alone.
Yep. Well, and you
'Cause
always
but
find the
that's-
best groups to pack with. Like,
Yeah.
I love getting, for those who don't know, Dayna and I do a lot of the promotion side and the picture side and all that. So my favorite thing is always to see the little kid that's on the stool. And
Yeah.
there's always a group of, we've had people who celebrate their 5th birthday. It's the first
Yeah.
time they get to pack and things like that. And you always seem to find the best tables like that to pack at, of grandmas to grandkids and to the full mix of everyone there.
It's amazing. Well, and that's what's something I wanted to ask you. You guys have always do a lot behind the scenes with taking video and shooting pictures and being there and getting the stories. I'd love to hear some of what is it like behind the lens to see it and experience it and the things you've enjoyed.
For mine, it's kind of it's a double-edged sort of. You get to see the celebrations and things like that. If you shout out, but then you have the camera, so you're sitting and waiting for that table to do it again.
Yeah.
And then they don't do it again.
Yeah.
So it is so nice just personally to experience you got to see that just joy and fun of, we're shouting out, or we came up with this fun little cheer and we're doing this, and that's so fun to see. But then it's also as the promotion side of it, frustrating when you're like, that's going to be a great picture. They're not doing it again.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
this is also my
regenerate it
personal
again.
plug of
Yeah.
if you're gonna
If you're gonna pack,
be cheer, be loud, be fun. That's what it's there to
and
do.
do not
and
be
do it.
overwhelmed by seeing a camera in your face
No.
suddenly. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen regardless.
Yep.
I'm just gonna wait for you to look away from me. Now. I think I just really like seeing all of it actually happening. Of especially the 10 million of so much went into it, and then finally you're like, cool, it's here, it's happening, and you just see the chaos.
And the range of chaos, we've got school kids coming during the day and they're getting buses, and the teachers who just buy into it immediately. And it's I have to hand out hair nets. Okay, cool. Here we go. We're going to get this. And it's Wednesday night and or a Saturday morning and a church group is coming and you have all of those ages packing together. And it's just such a cool experience to see the mix of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. One of the ones I loved, and I think if you remember, Dana, because I remember you talking about it, there was one year where there was this dad, and they're little, and it must have been 5 or 6 little,
I
and they
also
were
thought of him
carrying
just
the rice and so
He wanted to help Dad
But
on.
Dad was warehouse and was carrying stuff, and so he would obviously he was not big enough to carry once they were full, but when he emptied them, he would hand them off, and I think I have a photo of him.
I think
I
you
think
do.
so. Or we have a photo or video. Yeah.
Of him, he's itty bitty, but he's carrying the tubs that we use.
And he just
through-
the joy on his face.
Oh yeah, and I want to say they came multiple years.
I think that's also one of my favorites is, especially now that we've gone to being a bigger pack and so many times offered, is the people, especially that very first year that we were a big pack. It was a polar vortex that year, and just one of those God moments of this should not have worked out, but it did.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's just created that culture of this is fun. I want to stay and do it again.
Yeah.
And getting to hear those people of oh yeah, we just did this, but
Yeah,
I wanna
we
stay
came
and do
back.
another
or the one
shift,
kid
or I
that
came
kept
another day.
coming
Yes.
back the Fargo Dome year
Yeah.
of but I also thought of the moment that you and I had left Fargo Dome and came back, and we were like, "What is the shift going to look like?" Because it was
it was blizzarding.
Yeah,
it was the
weather
million.
went like you would
it
look
was
out
like
the
one
window.
of the last days.
Yep,
like it was a Saturday or something.
The very last
it was.
day.
I think it was.
And we were
I'm
like,
getting
we
goosebumps
were,
right
yeah,
now.
we left,
and we
then we came back, and we're like, I don't know what this is gonna be. And then we like got back, we're like,
the Fargo Dome
where
lot
are you
was
gonna park,
full.
Sarah?
It was packed full. That
like,
was
I'm pretty sure we had to like walk a distance.
And usually for us, this is such a like small complaint of ours. We're used to being there early and late.
You get to park near
I get
the
to park,
door.
Yeah, front row park, and this is gonna be great. And now I'm like,
you want me to walk?
Yeah, because the lot was full and it was so cold, but
And it was blowing and snowing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Debbie Jensen, who leads our like greeting team when you come in and they hand out the hairnets and all of that, talks about being in the lobby that he went in. And they were all worried. Everybody's worried what's going to happen because they're standing out there in the lobby watching it. The rest of us are in there getting ready, and you don't see it. They are watching it happen the whole time. The weather coming in, and then she said all of a sudden it was like a movie. They just started coming out of the snow.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't even see them. But she's like, it was
Right.
so bad
The
you
way
couldn't
that
see them
that's-
park. You couldn't see the cars.
that's how ours
Then you started
was too.
seeing the people come to the
Yeah.
door,
Yep.
and they just kept coming. And that's our community. You come out in blizzards. You come out in 50 below weather. You come out in ice storms. You return when we say, hey, we got open spots and we need people. You answer the call. Sorry.
Yes.
It's hard to talk about, right? Because when you've seen it for 12 years, or when it's the COVID year, when we were crazy and did a telethon, Dave and I did a telethon, you responded to a good old fashioned on YouTube telethon. You know, we raised over $100,000 that year just from a telethon. Even though we couldn't pack in person, we could send it back. They machine packed that time. And just you make a difference. And so, you know, we're asking you as a community to come forward and do it now. We need the money now because we want to pack 2 million. We know we can pack 2 million. We have capacity to do it. We need the money. We need your help. We know things are crazy in the world. You know, whatever you have to spare, can you help us? Now we need to raise, if we want to do $1.5 million, like another 213,000. If we want to do 2 million, it's like another 340,000 right now that we need to raise. And I know that seems like an astronomical number for people, but it can be done because you can pray about it. You can give what you're able. And when 100,000 people in our community give a little bit, we can get there.
Yes.
And so I've learned, I'm like, we trust in God, right? That's what we pray and we trust in God. We say it's his number, it's his pack. Every one of these children, every hair on their head, every one of them are his children. He knows them. He knows what they need. And, you know, we've been talking about this around here on staff a lot lately, about the Holy Spirit moving. And there's just been lots of things happening in people's prayers and people, God revealing things. And I just believe this is going to happen, but we have to tell the truth. And it's not that we don't tell the truth, but we have to put it out there. Sometimes you have to ask when you're not where you want to be financially. Sometimes that's a hard thing to ask for.
Yeah.
And to be 100% transparent about
Likes talking about money.
Right. And so to be transparent, this is where we are.
Yep.
You know, we've raised $221,000 thanks to amazing, generous donors and amazing sponsors like Bell Bank and First Lutheran raising a lot through their Advent giving, Atonement Lutheran raising a lot through their Advent giving, and just people coming along and showing huge support. And so thank you. And we need your help now. We need you to help spread the word. We need your help praying. We need inviting you to come alongside us and give to help make this possible.
Well, and with that too, Amy, there's so many ways now that if you're giving and you're like, God, I just wish I could give more, look into your work, look into if your employer matches gifts.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends about it, because we know those are the people who come out and pack, is those friend groups, those family groups, things like that. Say, hey, you know what? I'm going to pitch in $50 to the FargoPack this year. Do you want to do that with me? We can then make it 100, or we could make it 75, whatever it is that.
Exactly.
Same way that we should need to talk about our needs.
Yeah.
I want to empower you guys to go and talk about yours as well. Of if you're going to be doing it, let's do it.
Let's do it. And yeah, don't let those matches go to waste. And some people, there's employers in town that pay their people to go volunteer, or they, when you volunteer, you submit your volunteer hours, and then they make a donation to the nonprofit in your name. Don't let that go by. That paperwork is not as complicated as you think it is. Don't let, because your company wants to make these donations. They just need you, and you want to give. You think about the number of people from a company that give 2 hours. I mean, I know there's one company in town that pays $50 an hour when their people volunteer. We'll donate $50 an hour.
And
Don't leave that on the table.
Shift, Amy?
We can have 800 people per shift, or you can come be a greeter or a floor monitor and work 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's $200.
And the thing is that like it goes a lot faster than you think. Like people I think get very overwhelmed by like especially our footage of looking at it. It's like it's not any of that because you will get so into a flow and then you'll just like hear them be like, all right, everybody's done. And you're like, wait, what?
What? We're done? I want to pack more. I'm just getting going.
I can do like another 10 boxes.
Yes.
Like it is
absolutely
not nearly as overwhelming.
Those are also one of my favorite tables is the people who have found their flow and are going, and you can see at the end, like, we're this many away from a full box. Like maybe they just started a new box and they're still just going.
Oh, you mean us?
You mean us that break the rules?
Yeah, and then we go, hey, just ignore us.
Never mind us. We're just finishing our box. Over. Don't look behind the curtain.
Exactly. But that we have, like you said, Amy, we have really great people who come and pack in Fargo, and we can take that energy to our prayers and our paying for this grocery bill, and I'm excited to see what it comes from this year.
That's right. So maybe if you're listening, someone, maybe your church or your life group or your Bow Scout. Right. Maybe your kids are coming with their school and you can help sponsor those kids. Like people don't understand those kids. So that's a huge, let's talk about that for a second. When we invite those public schools, they don't give money. And each volunteer, when they volunteer for 2 hours, approximately packs approximately 1 box of food. And 1 box is 36 bags. That's 216 meals. That's $63 of food if you're doing this math. So a box is $63. You pack a box in a shift, just about. So each one of those kids, the average person. So each one of those kids, if you want to sponsor your kid, $63 or their friends, or challenge them to ask grandpa and grandma to, hey, will you help sponsor me a little bit, or even $20, send it with your child and put it in the bucket when they come pack. And because it's a huge mission, and that's not why we invite these kids. So you giving helps us to be able to invite them. And why do we invite them? Because our mission, when I say we feed kids hungry in body and spirit, it's about feeding those kids locally who literally, this food is the difference between life and death. We'll come back to that because I don't want to gloss that over. That's a huge thing. But it's also about feeding spirits, encouraging these kids through the value of service, through the act of volunteering. And so what does volunteering do for a child or an adult or any person? And if you Google it, you will find facts. But it physiologically does something in your body when you are serving someone else, when you are giving of your time, volunteering for someone else. It breaks that sense of worry and anxiety and depression. It engages other endorphins and things in your body, and it brings joy. And it helps break that sense of what are they worried about? And we know, phones and constant comparison online and the things that kids today are exposed to that we were never exposed to even 20 years ago, right? And that has been very anxiety inducing. If you read any of these facts and figures, that anxiety and depression and suicide rates are up. And the part of them, why it is so critical that we bring them and why the schools are on board is because they know the value of volunteering to these kids. And they know the value, not only that, so to help break that cycle, but also to establish a sense of serving, a sense of philanthropy, a sense of caring for your community in these students. And it does make a difference because for some of them, it clicks for the first time. Oh, it's not just all about me, or
I can make a difference.
My life might be really chaotic at home, because, and don't get me wrong, there are kids that come that life is really chaotic, and they can see for the first time, oh, I don't have to remain in this cycle. I can make a change. And it's as easy as doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first concept they maybe ever had to volunteering and making a difference for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why. And so that's what your giving makes possible.
Mm-hmm.
Your giving makes it possible for us to invite 10 shifts worth of school kids. 800 times 10, okay? But, 8,000 kids.
Yeah.
Public school, private, from every high school in our metro in Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo. That's 7 public schools worth.
Yeah.
Plus 3 large private schools, plus multiple public schools from in the region, from in the surrounding region, all get to come because you give. The only way we can invite them is because you give.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for making that possible.
Well,
it's huge.
And with those schools, it's not just it is fully the range of, I think we are now like 1st grade through 12th grade.
Yeah.
Coming.
Yes,
So
yes, some of them bring all the way down to, it's very common. Most of them, it's 5th grade and up, or it's their high schools. West Fargo brings the high schools, but yeah, like when Park Christian comes, it's all the way down to like 4th or 3rd grade, and
so it's starting like we're making that difference for these kids young, but also a lot of those high school age kids that need to feel that sense of hope and joy of giving their time that they can make that difference or coming and getting to do it.
Absolutely. It changes them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It changes them.
Well, don't we have the one girl that we met this last summer that she was a West Fargo High student that packed, and now she's working for FMSC?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Because she packed
Because
with
she
her
packed
school.
here.
She
And now
ended up going and working for them.
Mm-hmm.
she works for FMSC, and we met like through this fall when we had Purposeful Plates. We met somebody working at the Avalon who said, "Hey, I remember packing in high school," and they were like, "Oh my gosh, this is the organization that I remember packing with." And they were excited about it and excited about how they could come pack or support.
Yeah.
Now when they heard more about it, like this is happening over and over and over and over in the community, and it's just amazing. Like it's so much.
Those
fun.
are those cool connections to get here. Even I think it was our tenure that we had the student who told his teacher that I remember getting this food when I was living in, I think it was Haiti at the time.
Yeah,
But
like there's people in our community that have had this food before.
Yeah.
And we tell that story, and we've heard, because I've heard it from the teachers or the principals about students have come up to them and said, "Hey, I just want you to know I had a child tell me that this," and then like there's one principal, and so it sold him on the importance of it, and it went from they would bring the organizations, the school organizations would come. It went from them supporting it in that way to supporting bringing the entire school.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it is work for these principals and teachers to make that happen, to arrange the buses, to arrange their schedule for this to come.
Yeah.
But when they catch how important it is and the difference it made in the life of these students, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I can't reiterate this, because this community has been behind it, because of the faithfulness of this community, because of your prayers, we have gone from one day in a gym, not inviting really anyone outside of a couple churches, to continual growth year after year after year after year, to being in the Shields Arena, inviting the first school that year, 6-7 years ago now, and that has continued to build into all of these, every area school comes.
Yeah.
Multiple. I mean, we make sure now when we arrange it that we have 5 weekdays worth and can have 2 shifts a day to make sure that the schools come. We arrange the whole schedule around them.
Yep.
Yeah. It is probably the most chaotic moments, but it's kind of the funnest just because they, especially like, I don't, because like I always do this myself in like my own head of like, okay, is it gonna be the middle schoolers that are a disaster, or is it gonna be the high schoolers?
And sometimes it surprises
and sometimes I get it wrong where I'm like, no, I feel like this year it'll be the middle schoolers and the high schoolers. I'm like, what do you know what you're doing?
But then you see them like as that shift goes on,
but they get so excited.
Yes, and they have so much fun with it. And then as they're leaving, Amy, like you said, you truly see the joy that like is in them of like, especially at the end when they hear the stories of this is what you did today. It's the
Yeah.
like, you see that light bulb moment in a lot of those kids.
Because you see it like when they come, a lot of times they're like,
like,
I'll do
okay.
anything to get out of,
It's
having
free day out of
normal-
school. Great.
Yeah.
For 2 hours
class.
of school.
Or they're like, oh, the school brought me. I don't know about
Yeah,
this.
I
They're-
didn't wanna
You know, they're
come.
typical teenagers.
yeah.
They're teenagers. This is
They
is
don't
okay.
want to have fun.
And
That's
Not
the
if it's
opposite of
school
cool.
mandated.
you know, and we are grateful that they don't have to worry about the things that some of these other kids
Absolutely.
around the world have to worry about. So they
Yeah.
get to be, you know, you're so grateful that they are that way.
They get to
But
be
then when they
teens.
leave, they have heard the story. They have made the difference. And to hear them cheering
Yeah.
to see how much they packed.
Yes. That's,
To wait, like that's the most fun thing at the end.
Yep.
For with their waiting, they want to stay to make sure they knew how much they packed, and to know whether they packed more than their rival school in town,
or even just between the grades of
oh
like,
yeah. Like
Yeah.
we
oh,
beat-
all the
10th
ninth
grade
graders
beat
are here.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, the 10th graders pack this much, and then they just get there. I want to know what school's like once they come back.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Are they terrible?
I would love to see
like-
just a cheer.
Yeah.
We're in what, basketball season? If there's just
Yeah.
like a sideline cheer of like, we packed more than you, something. I just want to hear something like that.
Right.
Or something. Might have to like encourage
Yeah.
the teenagers that are in the stands
Yeah.
when they're cheering on
Yep.
to
pep
hey, pick on
Yep.
on the
Yeah.
two. The fun. It's
'Cause
always
it's-
like the rivalry between West Fargo High and Cheyenne, or
Yep.
or the others, all of the crosstown rivals.
Yep.
But
But,
they
you'll
want to see
see
who
it.
did they pack more than.
Like, have you ever noticed that when it's the high schoolers, like when they come in and they sit for the beginning?
Oh yeah,
the
they
difference in them after
that 100%. Even
It's
just like
just-
in the way they carry themselves and the like
the way they
confidence.
sit in the seats.
Yes.
Even.
Yes.
It's the confidence that they have. Like, obviously, they always hear the like, oh, yeah, you can make a difference. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that is probably one of the only times that they truly get to see it and experience it for themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't express it enough. And if you want to see what that's like, I encourage you to sign up, as a greeter or a welcome volunteer or a warehouse or floor monitor during one of those school day shifts. So that you can see what we're talking about and you can experience it. Because I tell you, it'll change you too.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I got through this without crying. They normally have a crying
Well,
a tally for
Well,
me.
Amy, I do have
Started.
one question for you that might, because when we started, you alluded to this, it was one day in a gym with a couple churches. And now I'm trying to think, I think the furthest distance that we have for church or a church that comes is Cooperstown. I might be wrong in that.
Yep. So
How many churches are we up to now that volunteer their time or volunteer, on our planning committee and things like that? What's that look like?
Oh, part of the leadership team. How many different churches are there on the leadership team? Let me think here. There's like 7 different that are truly committed to being on the leadership team. And then, in that 2019, we had 44 churches participate from as far out as Carrington and all the way to Breckenridge and all the way over to like Pelican Rapids. Actually, we had a church come up from Minneapolis and they have their own pack, but they came up to pack in that year. And so we have this list of 44. And so every year, can they all come every year? But yes, right now we have a church from Battle Lake, and I think there is a group from Pelican Rapids. Breck. We're excited that Carrington has started their own pack,
Oh, okay.
and they're actually here the 26th and 27th of January, or 25th and 26th of January, packing in Carrington. That
Nice.
grew out of ours, and we're able to, after a couple years, finally establish their own. So hey, if you're out in the Carrington area, look it up online on FMSC.org. Search for the Carrington pack, and if you're out in that region, go pack with them. And so, and that was the dream, and that is our dream of our founder, Ron Stensgaard, who always say our founder, but he heard about Feed My Starving Children, and he brought it to the leadership at the church 12 years ago, saying, hey, I think we can do this. And they just grassroots, they didn't know what they were doing, but they just threw it together. This is what, he's an entrepreneurial business owner, and he's like, we can do this.
Yeah.
And they did. They just figured it out. And it was always his dream to unite the churches in our community. And it took 10 years. And it happened, and it has continued. Churches working side by side. We got to communicate with each other in places for things that people would have never, communicated before. And so there's schools, churches working together, businesses coming together to support it and volunteer. And like, hey, if your business wants a team building opportunity, there is none better.
Yeah.
Because they will come out of there having the time of their life. And then you get to hear, and what people don't know is like at the end of the pack, if you don't stay for the end of the pack, you're missing out. Because not only do you hear how much you pack, but you hear the story. You hear an impact story of the food on a child. And so I don't want to skip over the part that, why do we do this? We do this because these meals are needed.
Yeah.
And there's still over 6,200 people dying every day from hunger-related causes. I want you to think about 6,200. That is more than 3 high schools in our area. What we call the big high schools in the metro. 3 gone every day. That's not okay with me. That shouldn't be okay with anybody. Hunger is a solvable problem.
Yeah.
It's a distribution and for whatever, all kinds of other political, non-political reasons. And I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about globally. Globally, okay?
We can solve it.
And we can solve it by just 29 cents, $106.
Yeah.
We can solve this. And let's talk about why. People ask questions. Well, why should I care about somebody halfway around the world? Well, we believe that God says when he says, love your neighbor, that means everyone. That isn't just your physical neighbor here where you live.
Yeah.
That means everyone. And I certainly hope it is not okay with you that people are starving to death. Little children are starving to death. And why does food matter? Are they physically starving in some places? No, but do they need this food because they need the nourishment, the proper nourishment? Yes, they are malnourished and stunted. So let's talk about some details about that. What does stunting mean? What does malnourishment mean? Why is this food critical? Because if you don't get the right nutrients at the critical times between 0 and 5, and in the U.S., we make sure you're fed, right? We talk about fed is best with infants and formula and critical paying attention, and you go to the doctor to make sure they're growing at the right rate, that they're on track, right?
Yep.
So you think about if you have nothing and you have to choose which one of your children are getting food, or your parents have died and you're teenagers caring for your little siblings and there's nothing.
Yeah.
And so they're just eating dirt or whatever they can scrounge up.
Yeah.
Whatever little vegetable that doesn't have much or starch or whatever has very little nutritional value, that's all they're eating. And so then you talk about bringing Manna Pack in, and they get vitamins and minerals at the key time, and that it breaks that stunt, it stops the stunting, and they get developed properly, because stunting is a lifelong thing, and that affects them for the rest of their life, and then the cycle continues in the places. And if you can get them food, the proper kind of nutrients at that key times, and their brain and their body develops, they don't have to worry about whether they're out scrounging for food. They can actually go to school and they can actually focus and learn. Because I want to think about how easy is it for us to focus when we're hangry?
Yeah. I think about what's that 11 a.m. as you're getting towards lunch, when you're like, okay, what am I going to do for lunch? What do I need to really finish this project? Can I do lunch quick? Yeah. And that's every single day trying to just exist as a human times a million that we experience.
Yeah.
Exactly. So go ahead.
No, it's just it's such a, I can't think of the right word for what it is, but having, we don't know what it means to be that hungry, regardless. And not to say that people don't have hardships in this country with food, especially right now, but it is not the same.
Well, and I don't think it's one of the things that is amazing to me about Feed My Starving Children and these Manna Packs is it is such a catalyst, Amy, like you were saying, of these are kids that are so hungry that even going to sleep at night is not really an option.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is that constant pain. It is that constant thing.
Hunger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is the
not
cycle
just
of
a figure of speech.
No, it truly is because you're hungry, you're not sleeping. Because you're not sleeping, you're not going to school. It is truly the foundation of getting them a sustainable and constant meal, because that's the great part about with our partnerships in these places. It isn't just and we're passing through town and we'll make sure to drop it off and we'll leave it on your doorstep.
No.
Yeah.
It is that continued relationship to make sure that especially kids are getting meals and then are able to go to school or able to go to some type of workforce or things like that. It is truly the foundation of everything.
That's right. And that partner can go out and find these kids that are in the most need.
Yes. And in some of the most remote areas sometimes.
Absolutely. You know, there's a video that calls Follow Our Food on Feed My Starving Children's YouTube page. I encourage you to go out there and check it out. And like when the food, you know, it comes from here, it goes on a truck, and then it goes in a container on a ship around the world, and then it gets there and it goes on another truck, and then it might go down into a smaller pickup or on a donkey cart or into a little boat that looks like a canoe, and then they carry it. They carry it by hand over the mountains. And like one of our partners, Venture, that we've worked, that's also based in the Twin Cities, that Paul Herkman was a speaker at one of our galas a couple years ago, you know, and they serve in some of the hardest to reach places in Southeast Asia and in war-torn countries where people still hide in the jungle for fear of their children being kidnapped or people being murdered. And they'll have care points and they'll have to train. Their people that work on the ground there are risking their life to get this food to the people who need it. So.
And they'll do it endlessly.
Because
nobody should starve to death.
Yeah.
Right. And they get to, and it allows them to share the gospel with the, you know, it's a catalyst for that, because, and God says, if you ignore their needs, if you ignore that they are hungry, because God said, you know, God, over and over, when you look in Scripture, He's having food. What happened with the story of the feeding of the 5,000, right? And the disciples, you know, in our common little human brains are like, send them away so they can get some food, right? And or they're like, oh, then let me go. And God's like, no. Jesus was like, no. And the disciples are, oh, well, give me some money. I'll go into town and get food. And Jesus like, no. And so they go, all we have are these a couple fish and a little bit of bread. And Jesus says, bring it to me. And so when we ask you to pray, and when we pray, we're asking you to bring it to Him. That's what we do. We bring it to Him. We are following His word. We are praying. We are trusting fully that God will fulfill these needs, fulfill the needs of these kids around the world, where it is the difference between life and death.
Yeah.
And it is the difference here in kids understanding and grasping and growing up to become the kind of people that care and love and know their neighbor. And they can see it. They see us serving others and the fact that we are a Christian organization and we can invite the public to come. We don't shove it down their throat. We don't turn anybody away, but they see us serving others out of our love for God. Not because we have to, but because we get to, because we love God and because we love our neighbor and we care for them in this way. And they see it and they ask questions. Why do you do this? Why? Well, and then I get to share why. And you get to make that possible.
Yeah.
So I guess we should give them the shameless plug about FargoPack.org. You can give online.
And when can they sign up to pack, and when is packing? Give them one more reminder, Amy.
Yeah. So here's the details. Packing registration is open now. Okay. So if you go to FargoPack.org and you click on the pack icon, so in the middle of our page on FargoPack.org, there's a pray, there's a provide or pay, and pack option right in the middle. And if you click on the pack option, you'll find the volunteer page where you can click through and get registered through Feed My Starving Children's system. It'll take you to their system. And right now, spots are few. They're going quick. We opened up, but sometimes keep checking, keep checking back to see because sometimes groups have extras. So continue to check. If you don't see something that works for you, reach out. The email's right on there. Reach out to me and we'll put you on the waiting list and follow up with you. You can also give online at FargoPack.org. So when is it again? Feed My Starving Children, FargoPack 2026, February 22nd through the 28th, 2026 at the Butler Arena on the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. We hope you can join us. Learn more at FargoPack.org. You can pray. You can provide by giving, and you can come pack with us. We hope that you join us, and we hope that you remember us on Giving Hearts Day coming up February 12th.
Awesome. Who wants to pray us out of here?
Not Dayna.
I can.
Thanks, Sarah.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time and together. And Lord, I thank you for Feed My Starving Children and for Amy and the leadership team and the work that they do to bring this to the Fargo-Moorhead area. And Lord, I thank you for the people who continue to just come out year after year, and whether it's their first year or their 15th year packing, Lord, I just thank you for them and for their heart and for their just love for your children and letting us see truly how to love our neighbor. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of That Podcast. Don't forget that you can find us every Sunday morning at 9 and 10:30, either here at Atonement, 4601 South University Drive in Fargo, or online at atonement.live or atonementfargo.org. We also have a YouTube channel where you can find our services live or wide variety of resources. Again, that's YouTube, atonement.live or atonementfargo.org. So for all of us here at Atonement, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another riveting episode of That Podcast.